Hello and welcome to the Bloody Mess Shooter AI tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do basic character setup and change a few scripts so that you can make Bloody Mess work with Shooter AI. This tutorial won't follow dismemberment with this character. I will do a tutorial in the future that covers how to actually set up dismemberment on the model in Blender and Maya with this character, and how to set up the actual dismemberment in the engine. But for this tutorial, we're just going to do the basic setup of how to integrate Bloody Mess with Shooter AI. First thing we need to do is we need to open up some scripts. We'll go into health of the Shooter AI scripts. We need to open up the damage region and the health manager. First thing we need to do is go to the damage manager, and we need to add a public game object parent. And this parent is so that the Shooter AI can send this script from Shooter AI, the gateway games damage regions, can send damage to the character setup of Bloody Mess. So yes, we are in the gateway games damage region. We add the public game object parent. And then we're going to go down and we're going to add our own void here. We're going to do public void apply BM damage. Go ahead and float amount, and then just copy this right here. Alright, now we need to go to the health manager and change a few things. In the Gateway Games Health Manager, we go to the awake function. Oh, sorry. First we need to go to below this private transform model root. We need to add private game object soldier. And now in the awake function, we say that the soldier equals the brain dot game object. And that's just saying the soldier game object right there. So we come down. Instead of, in the update function, instead of health points, since we're actually going to use Bloody Mess's health, we remove this and we add soldier dot get component character setup dot health. So this is going to check if the health in the character setup script is less than 0, then it's going to run the die function. Okay, so that's set up. Now let's scroll down a little bit more. Here we have our apply damage to AI, which gets sent from this right here in the damage region script. So what we want to do is we want to remove this part right here. We don't want to do any damage stuff with this script. We want to use this script mainly just for knockdown. So we're going to just comment it out, or you can delete it, either or. I'm just going to comment it out so that it's not actually used. We're going to do the same thing for this apply death if needed. You can comment it out or delete it. And when you comment things out, you're just adding a /, like all the summary stuff. So now all this script will do is it'll send an AI hat message, and it will do a knockdown. Alright, so we're going to our void die. All this stuff can remain the same, and that's pretty much it for this script. We can go ahead and hit build. Now you need to, let's make sure there's nothing. We're good here. Now you need to go to your actual shooting scripts, and in this case I'm using Easy Weapons. And Easy Weapons will have its own section, or Bloody Mess has its own section at Easy Weapons, or it will very soon. And what you need to add is you need to go to all of the things. If you look at the hit collider.gameObject component, generally these are going to look like limb. They're going to be limb for all of these. But what we need to do is change that to, instead of looking for the limb component, we need to make sure it's looking for the damage region component. But the only way to do that is to add using Gateway Games Shooter AI up here, so we actually have access to it. And then we come back down, we go to our damage portion of your whatever weapon script you're using. So for instance, this is the one for Easy Weapons, like I said. And instead of limb, we're putting this Gateway Games damage region. And since you'll probably be typing it out, it's Gateway Games damage region. Here, I'll just do it this way. Gateway Games damage region. Alright. Now once we have that all taken care of, we need to make sure that, well, in Easy Weapons, there's actually another raycast that happens with beams. So let's go down to the beams and make sure they are all correct. Obviously I've done this before, so they're all still correct, but for you, these may say limb, so you need to change it to Gateway Games damage region. And then we need to add one last thing to this, and you can see it right here. You need to access the character health and only apply the apply BM damage when the character health is above 0, so that you don't do a knockdown when a character is dead. It removes some errors. So for instance, we probably need to take this, hit copy, let's take it down to the beam. Okay, so now we're going to do that with a beam weapon as well. And then you would do the same thing for if you had any explosive type weapons. Easy Weapons does have one, and to get the explosives working for Easy Mess, you have to come in, or not Easy Mess, Easy Weapons. You come in and you add the Gateway Games region for all of the collider setup stuff, which this stuff in the next update of Easy Weapons will all be here for you, except for this portion right here, which you'll need to add, which is the if character health. And of course, since he uses an overlap spear here, which collects the colliders, instead of hit, all these have to be the collider of the array that's created here. So it's col.gameObject instead of hit.collider.gameObject. Okay, so let's go ahead and build all that. Now let's look at the character. Look at the soldier. Oop. Looks like something isn't correct. Ah, now I know why. This is actually called beam power. So let's build all. Alright, so now we need to set up the soldier. Clear that real fast. And soldier setup is a little bit different from the basic character setup for other characters because of the way shooter AI sort of designs its how it's designed. The first thing you do is go to health body and the health head and just go ahead and turn that off. The second thing you do is you go up to soldier, add component, capsule collider, and turn that off. This is just setting up things for bloody mess. Now we need to add the character setup script. We need to uncheck automatic ragdoll because we're actually going to use the ragdoll system for AI shooter. We're going to uncheck destroy ragdolls. We're going to set the renderer's parent to the soldier mesh and the skeleton parent as the hips of this character. And you can add a character name if you want. It doesn't matter right now. You don't need to put a ragdoll in. And we kind of leave this alone for right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to this soldier here, go all the way up to the top, set this to ignore raycast, no, this object only. Now, that's not what I wanted to hit. That is. Alright, so we need to do a couple things. We need to open up the actual hierarchy for its bones. And we need to select all the bones that have a capsule collider on them. So the hips, the left upper leg, the left leg, the right upper leg, the right leg, the spine 1, I believe it's spine 1, yeah. Spine 1, the left arm, the left forearm, the head, the right arm, the right forearm. Then we need to go down into our shooter AI, or actually we could do it this way. Gateway games. And then damage region. We're adding a damage region to each of these. We need to set the health manager as the health manager and the parent as the soldier. And now we need to go through and add our tags. So the hips is tagged as upper body in this, which may be counterintuitive, but if you look at the character, the hips are actually part of the upper body, the way he has his collider set up. So the hips is part of the upper body, and the leg, these top legs, I'm going to make part of the lower body. So the hips are part of the upper body. The left and the left upper leg and the right upper leg are lower body. The left leg is the left leg. The right leg is the right leg. Spine 1 is also upper body. Left arm is left upper. Left forearm is left forearm. Head is head. Right arm is right upper. There it is. Alright, right forearm is, of course, right forearm. Okay, so you may notice that in my previous tutorial on setting up a character, the basic character setup, I actually have hand and feet colliders, and I use shoulder colliders and a neck collider. For this tutorial, I'm just going to use what he already has set up here. You can actually I'll have a tutorial for dismemberment, like I said, where I'll actually add the extra colliders in. what you have to do for this model, or for his setup here, is you wouldn't just add colliders. You would also have to add the joints as well, because he doesn't spawn a ragdoll on death. He just turns on all the ragdoll stuff upon death. So I will go over that whenever I go over the actual advanced character setup for Shooter AI. But for today's purpose, for just getting a basic setup, we're just going to leave it like it is right now. But we are going to do a couple things. For instance, I think the forearms, like the colliders, are too big. So let's just bring the radius of those down. And do the same things for the lower legs. So the left leg and the right leg. Bring the radius of those down. Alright. So got these all set up correctly. Alright, let's go ahead and create a prefab out of this guy. Let's call him like Soldier 2. And we can go to, I'll just drop him in the prefabs of and in this particular case I have a spawn script that just basically spawns another version of this prefab. I can show you what it looks like if you want. It's very simple. Basically, if you get the input down for button spawn, it's going to run this function, which spawn obj, which is going to clone and instantiate the object. It's extremely simple. So if you want to have that for testing purposes, you can go ahead and use that. We need to set a nav mesh. So what you do is you get a window, navigation. You have your nav mesh here. You select the object, which is the cube in this case, whatever your ground is. And we need to make it static, and we need to make it walkable. And then we hit bake. It'll bake the nav mesh. Now let me take it to the soldier and just make sure. We're not using dismemberment. We have all that stuff turned off. We have, let's set the max global health to 500. The head health to 500. Leave all those the same. Let's set the head multiplier to 100. No, wait. What was it before? Let's put it at 10. Head multiplier at 10. And then I'm going to hit apply. Alright, let's see what we got here. See what errors we get so we can fix them. We have the guy here. I'll show you a current. Okay, let's see. We're not getting a hit right here. Or, wait, maybe we are, but we aren't getting... Oh, I know why. I know why. We forgot to do something. I'll show you what we forgot to do. Alright, so we need to open up another script from Shooter AI. What was happening there is when he starts his character, he actually disables all those triggers that are colliders that we were using to identify our hit zones. So we need to go to under Shooter AI. Let's see. Go down to where he put under brain? No. Let me see. It's the ragdoll script. I don't remember where he keeps that. It's under... There it is. Gateway Games Ragdoll Helper. It's under Scripts Model. So it's under Model, Ragdoll, Ragdoll Helper. And we need to scroll down to where it says the void set kinematic. And we need to remove this collider enabled line or comment it out where it says child get component collider dot enabled equals not new value. So that's where he's enabling and disabling it. We aren't going to be enabling or disabling. We're just going to be changing it from a trigger to a collider. I mean to a to a collider. So let's go to build. Also, there's one other thing we need to take care of. We need to remove the onTrigger enter function from the damage thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to just comment this out right here, where it says void onTrigger enter collider call data. We're going to comment out this section right here. And then lastly, we need to go to our hips right here and make all of these limb. Change the layer to all of everything that's below this. Then you go up to the top and you hit apply. So that'll apply it to everything. Now let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, he flies them in the air. And the reason for that, I don't know yet. It only happens when the character's crouching. They pop up in the air like that. I'm in talks with Gateway Games to A, figure out why it's doing that, and B, implement things a little bit better. But with this tutorial, you'll at least be able to get started. If we remove the ability for the character to, where is that at? AI stats. Just make it where you can't crouch. Hit apply. Go ahead and test this real fast. Works much better. Now, you'll see a problem here that force is not being applied correctly. This is another issue that I am trying to work out. I can show a quick workaround. We go into our script here, where explosion data is being sent. And if we, instead of just passing the damage in, we pass the weapon type as well. And then we have to we'll have to do that for all of these. All of these will have to pass the weapon type. All of our damage send functions, that is. Then we go to our health manager. Or sorry, the damage script here. We pass the weapon type in. Which is an int. Then we say if weapon type equals 2, knockdown area equals true, what that does is when it hits, if it's an explosive weapon and your character takes damage, it's going to send the knockdown equals true and start the knockdown time, which is faster than the actual death script. We'll build that. And we need to go to our explosion. So we'll go to rocket launcher. That's not what I wanted. General. Projectile seeking rocket, explosion. Let's go to this explosion and we're going to set the weapon type to 2. And this is just for easy weapons. Now let's give that a shot and see how it works. So we'll go ahead and test this now. If you want a visual, we will restart this real fast. Select the soldier, scroll down, let's look at the health. His current health is set at 500. It's doing about, bam. So you can see that headshots and everything work. Takes a lot more shots to kill the body than it does the head. So we've got it working. There's a couple problems we're going to need to fix eventually. A lot of times, well, it's working now, but sometimes in some animation states, it won't actually apply the physics. Right now it's doing it. Of course it's doing it while I'm doing this video, but when you probably have a game going or you're trying to get it set up, it won't actually apply the physics. And that's something else I'm going to be working with Gateway Games to try and get to be more consistent. But anyways, that's the the tutorial for Bloody Mess and Shooter AI. It's working currently. These errors you see are actually errors with easy weapons. Working. There's more stuff that needs to be done to make it perfect, but at least for right now, you can get it working in your project. And in the next video, I'll be going over how to set up our guy right here for actual dismemberment. which will be sort of culmination of what you're wanting. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.